guys, today is, Jordan, what are you doing?
I'm practicing the Force.
What is that?
What do you mean? Have you not watched any Star Wars movies?
No.
What?
Let's just get started with the episode.
You will go to the next segment.
That's what I said?
Ha! The Force. Oh. You might have noticed that we didn't have school on Monday.
Yeah, it was MLK Day.
MLK Day is to honor Martin Luther King Jr.
Let's take a look at a part of Dr. King's famous I Have a Dream speech.
I have a dream that one day on the red hills of Georgia, sons of former slaves and the sons of former slave owners will be able to sit down together at the table of brotherhood. I have a dream that one day, even the state of Mississippi, a state sweltering with the heat of injustice, sweltering with the heat of oppression, will be transformed into an oasis of freedom and justice. I have a dream. My 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I have a dream today.
Man, I could go for some Chipotle. Oh wait, I remember.
There is a Chipotle night on Wednesday, January 22nd.
Your teachers have flyers. You can find the link in the description below.
This week we will be continuing our interview series. So let's not wait another second and pass it over to Lexi in the field. Not that type of field. Now over to you, Lexi. Sorry guys, it was a great. My name's Lexi, and I'm Lexi, here to interview Mrs. Hudson. So as you guys know, we are continuing our interview series.
Hi, Del Sol. Thanks for having me, Lexi.
Of course. Thank you for responding. All right, so our first question is, what experience do you have in education, and what was your previous position?
So I have been in education for almost 20 years. And my previous position, I was a high school Spanish teacher. And I started out as a high school Spanish teacher. And over the course of, like I said, 19 years, I taught Spanish 1, Spanish 2, Spanish 3, Spanish 4. I was a department chair. I also taught junior college level classes where I taught beginning Spanish and intermediate Spanish, and I taught there for 15 years. And yeah, I did a lot.
How was our school different from your previous school that you worked at?
Oh, that's a great question. So this school, I would say, is completely different from my last school. The last school I was at was a big high school just outside of St. Louis, Missouri. It was on the Illinois side. And we had about 2,000 students. And yeah, so it was a big Metro East is what we called that area, high school. Very traditional high school in the sense of every 50 minutes the bell rang. I had anywhere between 5 and 6 different classes and anywhere between 125 to 150 students that I met with every day. So it was a very traditional high school. So when I got to this school, not only was the age difference very obvious, but then also this school is indoor-outdoor, it is a STEAM school, it is very non-traditional, and I like that much, much better. So it fits for me much better.
That's good. It's from Illinois, so obviously the weather, all that stuff. So
right. Yeah, so obviously, like you said, the best part has been the weather. I absolutely love California weather. The scenery, it's much prettier here. I come from the land of cornfields, so I don't really miss the cornfields. It's very green here, which I love. I don't miss wintertime, and I love how the sun comes out just about every single day. So that.
Because we already have a principal, so vice principal.
You're right. That is a difficult question to answer. I think, well, the one thing about my job is that it changes every day, and it changes basically from minute to minute. I never know really what's going to happen from one moment to the next. So a lot of times it is just keeping the school running, all the things that kind of happen behind the scenes. What I like to think of every morning when I wake up is my number one job is to keep my teachers happy and my students safe. Happy teachers means happy students, right? So, and then as long as you guys are happy, then my job is to keep you safe and keep the school running, and so that's what gets me out of bed every day, and then everything else is just details.
All right. Good answer. What is something you want Rio del Sol to know about you? Like
Ooh,
facts or just
a fun fact about Mrs. Hudson. I think one thing that's different than I define myself as a teacher and an educator and a leader and all of those things, but I really am an animal lover, and I love all things nature. And whenever I lived in Illinois, every week I volunteered at a wildlife rehab center, so we would rehabilitate hawks and bald eagles, possums, let's see what else, baby squirrels, red-shouldered hawks, anything that came in the door, we rehabbed it. So that's a passion of mine that takes place outside of school. It's not something I've been able to do since I've moved to California, but this weekend I plan to go to Ojai and check out their raptor center, so maybe I can start volunteering there too. So I'm looking forward to that.
And you did mention you do have animals at home.
I do.
So what do you have? And also being an animal lover, I'm obsessed with fish, so I can kind of get your love for animals.
So at home I have a dog. Her name is Carly. She's a rescue animal. I got her about 10 years ago. Everyone asks me whenever I take her, I love how this area is very pro dog. I get to take her all over the place, which wasn't the case back at home. So everyone asks me what kind of dog she is, and she's just a mutt. She's a pretty dog. She's a good dog. She's a brown dog. So and then we have 2 orange cats named Mo and Sunny, and they're also rescues. So we've got those. And then I don't know if you guys have been into my office, but I've got 2 African dwarf aquatic frogs going on in there. So if you want to come by and say hi to my frogs, they would love it.
All right, so thank you guys for watching this interview segment. I can't wait for you guys to see episode.
So I was doing yesterday. Wait, I'm on right now? Why you didn't tell me anything? What I was doing again? Oh, I know. Now let's check who's getting a little older this week. Roll those birthdays.
Now, it's time to check out some amazing book recommendations. This week, we have a great book called The Good for Nothing Button by Charisse Marcel Harper. This book is about a yellow bird who brings a red button and sets it on a brown base where his friends Redbird and Bluebird are. Yellowbird says the button does nothing. As the birds turn pressing their button, their actions trigger feelings of surprise, sadness, happiness, anger, and more. Find out what the button actually does. For our grade chapter book, we have Horton's Incredible Illusions by Lisa Evans. Stuart Horton, who found his great uncle Tony's magic tricks, now must use those tricks to locate his will. He's in for a big surprise when the tricks suddenly transport him and the triplets to adventurous places. Will he find his great uncle's will? Follow Stuart's as he and the triplets use their smarts to solve puzzles to get back home. Now let's check a book from one of you.
Hey guys, the book that I'm reviewing today is called Jump. I really like this book, and I think you would too, because it's a graphic novel, and I loved it personally because as soon as I got it, I'm like, ooh, this book. It sucked me into it right when I touched it, and I loved it. It took me an hour to read this. It seemed like it would take you longer, but because it's a graphic novel, it will probably take you a little less. But I think you will like it, and if I liked it, you probably will like it too. I'd give it a 5 5 stars. Thank you for listening. Bye bye.
Welcome back to Soul TV Sports. Last week, our boys basketball programs had their first game. Unfortunately, our 7th grade boys lost their first game against Blackstock. In other news, the 7th grade Rio del Sol girl basketball team beat Fremont 35-12. Also, the 5th and 6th grade boys won their first game against Surrey in a close score of 2 points. Well, that's all we have for sports, and remember to check the calendar for the next game.
Hello everyone. Welcome back to the Soul TV weather segment. It's time for your weekly weather forecast. This week will be a mostly cloudy week, but will have a little bit of sun towards the end of the week. The weather will get up to 66 degrees at the warmest and will be at 48 degrees at the lowest. Last Wednesday it was so cold Mr. Romano wore long pants. I didn't even know he owned a pair of long pants. Well, that's it for this week's forecast. I'm Kayla and see you guys next week.
Ugh, I hate this thing.
What's wrong?
It's not working.
Well, why don't we check out a tech tip from Mr. Romano?
Hey everyone, welcome to this week's Tech Tip. For this week, we're going to take an intro look to Google Sites. Now, some of you may have used Google Sites before, some of you may have never seen it, some of you may be looking at a Google site right now. The first thing is, how do you create a new one? Well, you can do it 2 ways. One, you can go to your drive and click on New, More, Google Sites. This will open a new Google site. Or just go to sites.google.com/new and click the plus button in the corner. Now, once you're into Google Sites, you can manipulate it just like most Google Docs. So here's your homepage. Now over here you have a bunch of menus and layouts and a bunch of really cool tools that you can use. First thing you should always do is name your site. Name it something unique so they know who they're looking at. Then you got to think about pages. How many pages are you going to have? What's your layout's going to be like? I always put a page for each thing that's important. For example, if you're using your Google site like a portfolio, you can put a page for each subject in school or each project you're doing. That way it's easy to navigate. You also have themes where you can really play around with it. Now, if you want to drag a simple layout in, you just click it and you drag it, and there you go. And then you can click to edit or upload. You can also double click and you have all these menu options, just like over here. You can add text, you can change text, and all text can be turned into a hyperlink as well. You can add YouTube videos, you can add dividers. There's all sorts of things you can add to customize your site. One of my favorite things to do is insert an image and then make that image a hyperlink. It's really, really simple. Grab an image of something you have. I think we'll go with one of the logos. Once it's there, move it around where you want it. What's really cool is when you're trying to align things, it helps you align it by having these vertical lines and then having spacers put in. Once you click on it, you have a couple options. You can crop it, you can uncrop it, you can trash it, or you can link it. You can put any link to whatever you need to. Maybe I'll put the Soul TV website link. And then you just click apply. Then it makes it totally clickable. Now the last thing you need to do is you have to publish. So I haven't published yet. Now I'm going to click publish. My site will be its name for right now. And right here it says who can view my site. Right now only people in the Rio School District can view it. I want it public on the web. So I'm going to change this second one right here. Anyone can find it. Now anyone can view my site. So take a look, play around with yours if you already have a website, and really customize it. There's a lot of tricks I could dive into right now, but you really just got to play with it and figure it out. So be brave. Make a Google site or make yours better. That's this week's Teacher Tech Tip.
What are you gonna do over the weekend?
I think I'm just gonna get a burrito.
That sounds good.
You're on.
What do you mean we're on?
Oh,
We're gonna bring this episode to a close.
well, it's time we have to bring the episode to a close.
Ha! I made you say that.
No, it's the end of the episode.
Yeah, because I used the force to make it the end of the episode.
Well, if we must,
This is the way.
well, see you all next week. Bye!